Good morning. The sun is rising behind me and I'm leaving Elizabeth Harbour, Georgetown. So this whole thing I think is Elizabeth Harbour. Georgetown's a city over there. You can see, well, city, town. So I spent a few days here. I've relaxed, I've done some exploring, I have reprovisioned. I've filled up my gas bottles, I filled up my my diesel tanks, although I couldn't actually refill the diesel in my Jerry because the pump was not working when I went there. Yeah, so it's been a nice few days, but now, and the weather's kind of settled. The outlook is pretty good for the next couple of weeks. Generally, easterlies. Bit strong tomorrow apparently. Anyway, I am now making my way back north slowly. I'm hopefully doing about 20 miles today up to a place called Rat Key Cut, and I'm aiming to get there at about slack high tide, and that will ease my passage through the cut. It is fairly protected, this one, from the easterlies, so it's the best one to get back into onto the bank side. And then I'm going to anchor there and then just slowly work my way back north along the Azumas, spending a few days here and there. All right, let's get out of the harbour and let's get the sail up. Wind is, where's the wind? Wind is out of the east, northeast, which is over that way, so it should be a broad reach, which should be nice sailing. So I'm through the cut. That's the cut behind me. Not a lot of room. I reckoned it was maybe 4 boat lengths across, so maybe 100 feet, 120 feet. Particularly difficult because the swell was coming across, so it's hitting me on my side until I got really close, and then I was fine. And that's actually why I chose that cut, because that is the most protected cut from the southeasterly swells. I'm going to work my way up to round Rat Key. This is Rat Key here. There's a couple of anchorages on the other side of that which might do, although one reputedly has a wreck on it. This is how close I am. Pretty close on that side too, not quite good. 10 feet of water. I'm anchored in Children's Bay. I'm not really sure, I don't really understand the island. This is Children's Bay Key, so maybe this is Children's Bay that I'm in. Stunningly beautiful. I'm not complaining, but unfortunately it's actually a private island, so you're not allowed to go on there, which is a bit of a shame. Also, I'm a little close to their channel, but there's a couple of other boats here already, and it's pretty skinny water. I maybe could have got round to the other side of those guys, but I'm happy here. I'll get a bit of wake when the boats go in and out of that. Stunningly pretty. Super calm as well compared to I did check, so I was going to anchor at Boise Key. Yeah, so I tried Boise Key, I tried Rat Key but that was pretty rolly at Rat Key. Here, super protected, you know, not at all rolly, and there's going to be strong winds coming from that a ways tomorrow. I'm just going to have my lunch, stay here tonight, see what the conditions are tomorrow. Either stay here tomorrow and then on some future high tide take the little hike up to Lee Stocking. So it's been a really windy day today, 30 knots gusting from the east. So pretty much I've been downstairs all day. Fortunately, it's coincided with having to do a bit of work, and that's what I do. The problem that I've got is I don't have very much power. So what I have to do is wait until the batteries are fully charged. Then I can charge my laptop. I can work for as long as my laptop battery runs out. Then I have to charge the laptop battery up again off the solar, and I can really only do that a couple of times a day. I only do it when I've got enough solar so that I can run directly from the solar output rather than from the battery. Last year I ran my laptop directly from the battery just before I headed to Key West, and one of the batteries cratered that next day. So I don't like sucking all that power out of the batteries directly. I take it only directly from the solar panels. So just another limitation of living on a little boat that's really supposed to be a weekend cruiser and not a cruising liveaboard, but I'm making it work. So it's a pretty grey day today, and I've been stuck in Children's Bay for the last couple of days because the wind has been more or less out of the south, and that's the only decent protection for miles. It's still out of the south, but it's dropped down a little bit. It's been kind of 20-25 knots over the last few days. It's dropped down a bit today, and it's supposed to drop down further this evening. I had hoped that one forecast shows it swinging around and it would have been calmer and I could have stopped. And this is Lee Stocking Island behind me, and I had hoped to spend a bit of time looking around this area, but the way the wind is looking, it's just not conducive to any of the anchorages down here. So I'm going to head back up north. I'm aiming to get to Big Farmer's Key tonight, and it's motoring all the way at the moment. I'm on a rising tide, but it's not a big tide, and I've got to get through a particular kind of shallow section by 1 o'clock, so fingers crossed my timing is going to work, because I did leave it a little bit late to make the call. I'm motoring. I don't want to put the sails up because I'm constantly changing direction as I weave in between all the keys, following some pretty narrow channels, and I need to have good visibility directly ahead for any rocks. And again, particularly, you know, on such a grey day, it's probably not the right time to be venturing into such shallow waters, but that's what I'm doing. You've got to think it's going to clear up eventually. So this is the nervous part, or one of the nervous parts. That's the East Pimlico Keys right there. I've got 5 feet below me, another shallow bit to come, so I'm quite nervous. In fact, I'm going to stop filming because I might need to be able to react quickly. Alright, past that hazard. got the West Pimlico Keys to come. Those are the West Pimlico Keys straight ahead. Okay, so this is my next nerve-wracking moment. So that sandbar goes all the way up pretty close to the West Pimlico Key, and I've got to sneak over the top of it, hopefully with sufficient tide that I don't drown. I've got my chart plotter, I've got my iPad with a different chart on. This second one is kind of well known, the Explorer chart. The bottom one's Navionics. So it's good to have slightly different perspectives, but one thing you've got to remember is that they're both just charts. Don't get focused on the chart alone. You've got to actually keep an eye on the water depth in real life as well, because that's reality. Just to make life especially difficult, I've got a paracat coming directly the other way. So I was right on the starboard side of the channel, as far to the starboard as I could go, 4 feet of water, and the bloody paracat, I called him on the radio. Obviously he's not got his radio switched on, so he just came barreling through, and instead of going to my port, passing port to port, which is the way we should do it, he bloody came all the way around my front. Oh, so I just killed my engine and floated there to find out what he was doing. That was nervous. Whew. I'm anchored at Big Farmer's Quay. That's Big Farmer's Quay. All the way along there, all the way along there, all the way along there, and up to the north. Not actually where I planned to anchor. I was going to anchor way at the north of this, but as I was heading that way, I could see that's a really small anchorage where I was going, and my fallback was to continue past there. If it was full, I was going to continue past there and work my way further north. But when I was about 2 miles out, there was just this massive squall coming in from the east, and I didn't fancy my chances of navigating through that, so I aborted, cut across. Conveniently, I'm right at high tide, and the one thing about this particular anchorage is it's about 4 feet to get in, but I've got 2 feet of tide, so I've got I had 6 feet, a little bit more maybe, under my keel on the way in, but it's pretty calm. Anchor's down, 7 feet of water, and I'm tucked in, so I'll get a little bit of wind protection as well, which is nice. The squall's gone. Yeah, so hopefully it can be here for a couple of days. I'm going to put the dinghy in the water and do a little bit of exploring. These GoPros, or this GoPro, really pisses me off. I hope I got some video footage of it, but I have it on video, and then it switches itself to time warp mode, some ridiculous time-lapse thing. So I was videoing the turtles and stingray, you know, both munching on the same bit of grass with a nice snapper swimming alongside it, and then I discovered I had it on the wrong mode, so none of it came out on video. Really pissed me off. It was such a cool thing to see, all of those together. Anyway, hopefully I got some footage of both individually at least. There's Southern sitting there. Okay, I'm just on the northern beach now. I thought I'd stick my head round, have a wee look, see what's up here. Nice trees. And another little cave. Should bring a torch. Oh wow. Ugh. Neat, but buggy. So lots of no-see-ums in there. They're not, or not quite no-see-ums. Time to go back, get some lunch.